Okay, it's time for a mobile games roundup, and I'm going to kick us off with Little Orpheus. What is Little Orpheus? Well, for starters, it's an episodic side-scrolling platformer and Apple Arcade exclusive. It's also the name of an atomic bomb, whose current location is the big question that drives our story. We follow the fantastical tales of Ivan Ivanovich, a Soviet cosmonaut who was sent to explore the centre of the Earth alongside Little Orpheus, as he tries to recount the events of the last 3 years to General Yakovoi, who, understandably, is a bit more concerned with the aforementioned dirty great bomb Ivan seems to have lost.
You have precisely 1 minute to convince me not to summon the guards and have you shot on the spot.
Visually, this is a stunning little gem, and as you run around the environments that make up the campaign, you're treated to all sorts of wonders. From dinosaurs, both friendly and ferocious, to towering ancient structures, to lands hanging outside space and time. The attention to detail in the art design is incredible. Same goes for the voice acting, which makes up a good chunk of the storytelling.
It was huge, General.
You were swallowed by a giant whale.
Yes, General.
You look remarkably well for a man who was swallowed by a whale.
I did find that, like a few of the more story-heavy games we've covered on the show, Little Orpheus may have been better as a short film or a comic rather than a game. While the controls are super simple, a few times I found my commands not registering, or I'd have to compensate for the sometimes janky movement, which really broke that nice flow that makes platformers enjoyable to play. Little Orpheus has an interesting story to tell and a lot of funny dialogue to listen to, but I don't think it quite married the narrative and gameplay side in a way that made them both feel whole. So I'm giving it 3 out of 5 rubber chickens. Okay, Will, what have you got for us?
Alright, sure there is water on Mars, but what about golf? Well, after swiping away at my mobile phone for hours, I can indeed confirm there is golf on Mars. This is a sequel to Desert Golfing. Popping you into a two-tone procedurally generated world, you'll be dragging your finger across the screen to select your aim and power, then hitting your ball towards a marked hole. And that's it. There's no microtransactions, no upgradables, no cosmetics, just to-the-point swinging and a fair amount of missing. Lining up your perfect shot only to watch the ball fly over the hole, bounce and keep rolling is so painful. And yet, I'm still playing. With such simple repetitive controls, you're always only a few swipes away from success. The courses will occasionally throw a curveball of an object that needs to be knocked away or avoided, but your main challenge is just dealing with the planet's lighter gravity. There may be more gameplay shakeups, but as the game procedurally generates its courses, there's more than 25 billion holes to clear, so I may have missed 1 or 2 things. Sometimes your ball will roll endlessly and your shot will be, well, shot. But other times it'll land with a thud and lose all momentum. It makes it a little hard to plan your shot if the game's physics might take an unplanned nap. I also would have liked a bit more sound design, as it is very empty. This is all you'll be hearing for the game's 15,000 year runtime. But hey, I'm nitpicking. Golf on Mars is a to-the-point golf game, with its rapidly rewarding gameplay loop scoring it an easy 3.5 out of 5 rubber chickens from me. Now I'm gonna keep going, because apparently if you clear all 25 billion holes, you get an achievement. Rad?
Pokémon Café Mix is a free-to-start game for Switch and mobile devices. You play the owner of a brand new cafe that's visited and staffed by adorable little Pokémon. To make dishes, you connect matching Pokémon heads together using the touchscreen to fulfill various goals such as getting tomatoes into baskets, or breaking sugar cubes by linking Pokémon next to them. It's super familiar gameplay, using lots of concepts from Match 3 style games such as Candy Crush, but Pokémon Café Mix puts a spin on things by using a more physics-based system. Pokémon will jostle and fall as you slide around to connect them, which makes it tricky to get things where you want them. It doesn't feel all that strategic, it's more of a cute chill-out game. As you complete orders, you'll make friends with Pokémon who'll then start working at your cafe. Each has a different specialty dish, such as drinks, and a special power. Link up enough Pokémon to fill the power meter, and you'll get an icon that you can move to clear a considerable amount of the board. These can be handy for getting you out of a tough spot, although tough spots can feel a bit up to the random roll of the dice. Because of how the Pokemon bounce around, you don't have a whole lot of control. And there's absolutely no clear link between joining heads and making a drink. I will say I liked watching the Pokemon heads bounce around, but it's not quite fun enough to keep me engaged. It might be something cute to muck around with if you're a Pokemon fan and you're curious to check it out, but I'm giving Pokémon Café Mix 2 out of 5 rubber chickens. Oh, hello Mr. Mime, what can I get you today? Coffee? Pancakes? What does this mean? Oh, just speak!